Hi there. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Explaining the Unexplainable. And we have an incredible guest tonight who is coming here live stream all the way from Sweden.
Yeah.
So I think this is remarkable. And I want to go ahead and get to our Bishop Joshua Sparks, Mr. Exorcist Bishop Joshua Sparks. Hello there tonight. How are you, sir?
Doing wonderful. Doing absolutely wonderful. Looking forward to tonight's show. Um, we have a very special guest with us tonight, and all the way from Sweden. And she told us it's 4 o'clock in the morning there. Bless her heart for being here with us tonight. She's a real trooper. It's amazing that, at midnight, I'm already in bed. I've been asleep for hours at midnight, snoring and snoozing. And we just want to thank you for being here with us, um, Ellen. And I know that I'm going to try to say that right. Ellen Margarita. Is that correct? Am I paused? Can you hear me?
Yeah, so it's Ellen Margarita Norden.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Can you hear okay, Ellen?
Well, I'm.
I can hear you. I can't hear him.
Hmm,
Oh my goodness. So
okay.
that's a
Yeah.
little weird. I was having some issues too. I'm not hearing as well, but I can hear. So I'll
Okay.
come up closer to my microphone too.
Yeah,
So
my,
hopefully the audience can hear okay.
yeah, if
Normally,
everybody could drop a comment and tell me if you can hear me very good, that would be nice. Because
yeah.
my microphone is built right into my high definition camera, and my son's not here to adjust it for me, so I don't know what to do.
Oh my goodness. That
Unless
boy.
Stephen can give me some more volume, um, I'm not sure.
Well, while you're trying that, I want to go ahead and just say that Ellen was literally a guest before on the Mercedes Lucky Benedict show. I think it's been well, definitely been a year plus, and
Mm-hmm.
that was just I thought that was a really great show. I've kept up with her ever since, and this lady here has been winning awards. Well, let's just start with this. She's an actress. She's not only an actress, she's a producer, she's a writer. She well, she's just an award-winning everything, basically. She's a model. She's been doing this work since she was a kid. You're not that old. I'm sorry to say, but since you were pretty much a kid or young, really young, she's been an actress and doing all these different things. We brought her back on tonight because we want to talk a little bit. She's also had some paranormal experiences, and it's kind of interesting when you think about paranormal as far as not in the United States. She's had these in her locations in Sweden, and it's kind of unusual. It's different, so it's a very interesting thing, and I think it's actually shifted some of her life, the things that she's dealt with, some of the things that she writes about, and so we'll have her talk about that. And Ellen, and then I wanted to say, you recently won the NEZ. I don't know if it's called NES, but you recently won this award in a film festival, which is really great.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, she was on the. If you've heard of the magazine Harper's Bazaar, which I grew up with this magazine. They got a U.S. Harper's, well, they call it Bazaar, but it's still Harper's Bazaar U.S. So she's in that. She made the cover of it,
Wow.
and so she's she's really getting a lot of work. She's got a wonderful person publicist that just did this article. I just was in the art. This just came out yesterday with Mickey Solar, and I just really appreciate her. And I know that she works with you sometimes too, Ellen. So
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and tell us a little bit everything that's been going on with you.
Well, career-wise, it's just going really well. Spiritually wise, like, or ghost-wise, yeah, that's also moving, like, it's getting more and more. So, but yeah, career-wise, I'm like thriving and I'm happy and everything is just getting better. I'm in talks for a few projects that I can't reveal, but right now it's in the talk stage, which is super normal. You audition, you're in talks, and you're like, and then you have to wait. But I'm excited, and I have a film that is coming out in a couple of weeks. So that is exciting too.
And I kind of,
Cool.
I wasn't, I'm sure when you were talking about paranormal, were you saying that is that something that's occurring with you now, or it used
Oh
to?
yeah. Oh yeah, it happens all the time. The house I grew up in is has always been haunted. Um, we recently had a loss, like someone close to us died, so that one has made an appearance. And it's I'm a friend of mine sort of has said that I'm sort of like stalked by ghosts because it's like wherever I go, I'm like there is always something happening. I work as a translator, as an English interpreter, and that location is haunted also. So it's like it's a daily occurrences that's happening.
Oh, I didn't know that about you. That's very interesting. And so, how was that? How has this paranormal and supernatural life affected your work and your as an artist, as an actress, a writer?
Well, as a writer, it gives me more inspiration as long as I can respect, that it is they were people in their previous life, and right now they are sort of still people, but in a spiritual level. But if I write about them, as long as I respect them, then that's completely fine. And if I write about anything with demons or a haunted place, as long as I respect that and I do my education about that location and the the demonic, entities, then that's gonna be fine. Um, but yeah, so it hasn't really affected me in any way. The most annoying thing is when they mess with, like equipment. That's the only thing. That is the annoying part. But yeah, it's usually fine. So,
Well, I was just wondering, could you tell us? I want to hear about what your career, what you're doing too. But tell us, like when you were a child, or you're pretty much are you an intuitive too, right?
mhm.
Yeah. And when you were a child, were you able to communicate or sense these things as because it was happening in your house when you grew up?
I was able to sense it and see certain things, and when you're a child, you don't really understand what's happening, and so you sort of like want to block it out. So I've blocked it, for years, and then the older I got, the more understanding I got, and and the more I accepted certain things, and then it opened up again. So, but yeah, I sensed stuff when I was a kid, and like things I remember as a child. It was like for me, I was thinking like, oh, maybe it was a nightmare, or was I hallucinating, or was I just lonely, so I made a like a weird friend up or something like that. But now when I think back about it, everything that happened, really happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually glad I didn't really start having this any kind of things like that. And I had visions as a child, but we weren't having reoccurring hauntings. But I
Mhm.
could see like the day my grandfather. I saw my grandfather in a dream, and
Mhm.
he had like the toy horse that I it was in his farmhouse. And then
Mhm.
I remember him just sitting there quietly, and he wouldn't say anything to me. So I must have been like 10, maybe a little bit older. Yeah, it has been a little bit older. It had been about 11. And the next day, that's when we found out he had passed away during the night.
Mhm.
So he had come to me in the dream. But that I didn't have like hauntings or scary things until later in my life. So
Mhm.
I mean, when we've talked about this, we don't really talk about this a lot, Bishop Joshua, but about as far as the kids, like in her circumstance, I mean, that's pretty, as a child, how that affects a person, and how they grow and become dealing with the the spiritual aspects of these entities and things.
Mhm. Yeah, it can be traumatizing to a child. Um, I've talked and dealt with many people who we call him the top hat man, but he's a dark entity that wears a top hat, and a lot of children are plagued by this entity. Um, but it's not uncommon for children to see things because the veil between the spirit realm and the natural realm are easily accessible to younger people. I mean, because younger people don't have so much clutter in their minds. They're not so, um, I guess, what word would I use? They're not so dogmatic in their thinking that they have to see the world through one point of view. And sometimes the veil is very thin when it comes to children being able to see into the supernatural realm. I guess more innocent you are, the more capable you are of seeing such things. Just like animals, dogs, cats, they can sense things in the spirit because of their innocence. And I think that as we grow up, we all know we lose our innocence because this world has a way of taking that from us, right? Nowadays kids watch TikTok, they watch Instagram, they watch YouTube, and they see all these trends, and whatever's trending, they try to live it. They try to the best of their ability, live up to the stars that they idolize or the people around them that they want to be like. Um, so it's not unusual that children see things like that. There's thousands and thousands of accounts and stories that I've heard where people and have had some similar experiences as Ellen, and it can be very traumatic. It can be very life changing. It can cause lots of psychological, emotional, physical, spiritual uh, maladies, and it can cause a person to withdraw, isolate. It can cause a lot of different problems. There's a lot of people that I've talked to that it's developed into more mental health issues and things of that nature because of the fact that they've drawn away and not talked about it. Used to, when we were kids, it was taboo to talk about these things, but now, we're all talking about it, right? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very interesting.
yeah. Was your family open to talking about the spirits in the house, or did they like to just
They weren't open.
I knew she was going to say that.
So, and you know what? When I look at your work, when I see the broad spectrum of, when I see what you're portraying, I see innocence in you. I see it like almost it's like I see a childlike quality in your pictures, and it's I love your style. It's very old fashioned. I love those eras, and I kind of did the new little promo I did. I really kind of took that. I don't know if you noticed, but I did. I stepped back in time in the 40s. Yeah, I could have made a promo.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that look too. I love that. And how how has the well, so you're not from America, you're from Sweden. What is the difference? Because you've worked in America before. You've come here, you've traveled, right? Didn't you come here for a while?
Yeah, I studied at SMC, so Santa Monica College.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've had a lot, you've got to travel. So how does that work? Does that's probably made you even a better actress because you've been able to go and see different actually just take it out of the old movies we like to watch, and kind of get our you know how to acting from the old movies. I know well, I did so actors. I was an actress a long time, and I always studied the older the older movies because those were my favorite.
Yeah.
What is your way of becoming becoming a role?
I mean, I love the old style too. I love the old Hollywood. We from Sweden, we had some really great actors and actresses that came from my country, and took over Hollywood. Um, I've heard jokes that Sweden takes over Hollywood. It's like, but uh,
Might be a good
and how,
idea.
yeah. But I love I love studying. I love constantly develop my craft and educate myself in my craft. You know, it's and study the old style because back in the days when they were filming silent movies, they were filming on stage, and many of them were stage actors. You know, and that's why their expressions were loud and, you know, look, here is, you know, a gun, and instead of it be like a normal person, they were like, you know, it's like it's a ridiculous way, but that was the stage because they were
Yeah.
stage actors and they were in front of a camera. They still had to act like they were on stage because they still were on stage. And it's
And the makeup too. The makeup was
yeah.
completely different
Hmm.
from the stage to the silent films to the as the era
Hmm.
switched over.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's eh, I respect that time, and I respect how we evolved in films and also on stage today, you know, and we're still using techniques, you know, to create a movie or to create a play from, you know, the old times, even before the films were made, because, you know, like and I love that and how it has helped me become a role. It has helped me a lot because it's like in the end, I'm not playing me. So whether I believe in something or not, like it's I always when I go to an audition, I always get a question. Are you okay with this? Are you comfortable with saying this? Are you comfortable of doing that? You know, it's like I get that question. If I say yes, and then I'm on set and I refuse to do it, then that's not okay because, like in the end, it I I get I get the chance to act on stage or in front of a camera, and I want to respect I want to respect my craft and that everything, you know, like helps me. Every education, every film, every of my previous fellow actors, you know, back in the days to today, you know, it helps me a lot. And yeah.
So when um when you are directing, do you
Hmm.
like directors similar to like Alfred Hitchcock? That's what I'm kind of. Do you like that more of that? Do you like that spooky type of
Hmm.
thing? Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Do you think that came from just being in part of the paranormal world in a way or
I,
supernatural world?
I've always loved horror ever since I was a kid. I think if I remember correctly, one of my first horror movies or horror series that I remember that I watched and I liked was It, the one with Tim Curry, Pennywise the Dancing Clown, the one who eats kids. So
I think I
that
had
is.
trouble hearing that. Sorry.
Oh, um, no. So I've always loved horror movies, and one of my first memory was Pennywise, the Dancing Clown, It, the
Oh,
one with Tim Curry.
that is so scary.
And I've always loved horror movies, always loved like the unknown, and I still watch it today, you know. The only thing I can't stand is eyes. You know, when something gets too close to eyes, that's the only thing I can't stand.
You know, that's
And
so
the
funny.
dark.
So when she was a child, and that was like her first scary movie, but when I was a child, it was like the scary movies were like, the old monster movies, that's like what we were watching on TV or whatever, because we couldn't watch
Mhm.
movies like that at the theater. My mom wouldn't let us, scary movies. There wasn't a lot of scary movies on TV that were really scary, like Pennywise and that director. God, I can't remember his name. So yeah, so that Stephen King book, right? So yeah, I would think that your work has a kind of a reflection of the Stephen King type thing
Mhm.
to it. So that's very interesting. Remember, Bishop Joshua, um, like we've talked about some of the old movies, and we're pulling out old movies, that are
Oh
kind of
yeah,
creepy. You know, she's remembering really scary movies.
I remember Pennywise. We all float down here. Of course, I love Tim. Tim Curry's really great actor. Everything he's ever played in, I've liked. Um, I've watched just about every movie that he's played in. But you're talking about old movies. I think about the original Night of the Living Dead, produced by George Romero, or I think about Chiller, or I think about um, Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And you had some of the old scary movies with Vincent Price and people like that, Christopher Lee, and of course, one of my favorites is the soap opera Dark Shadows uh, with Barnabas Collins. I got to
Have
meet
you
him.
ever seen that, Ellen? Because he's actually met that's a really interesting
Wh-
one. You met him when you were a kid,
wh-
didn't you? That's a neat
Yeah,
one to look up.
Dark Shadows.
which one? Sorry, I did not hear.
It's
Yeah,
called
it's called
I could
Dark
not hear.
Shadows.
Yeah, it's called Dark Shadows, and Jonathan Frid
Oh,
was
you mean Dark Shadows? The the ones that you can see? Yeah.
no, it was a TV show back in the '60s called Dark Shadows, and it had a vampire on it named John Barnabas Collins, and I actually got to meet the actor that played Barnabas Collins. Jonathan Frid was his name. He's from Canada, so I'm not sure
That's
if you can hear me or not. You may have to.
very interesting. I started watching on YouTube about that. I looked up and they talked about Barnabas or the actors. So it's like you really get to look at things that we didn't get to see, but it talks about how he was auditioned and all this different things. And it's for an actress, it's really interesting to see the behind the scenes these days that we can watch on YouTube that we
Mhm.
never had the opportunity to see before, when I was growing up or even when I was doing the acting. So, Bishop Joshua, I've been asking all the questions. Do you have a question that you would like to ask her?
Well, I'm not sure if Ellen can hear me okay. I'm not sure that she can hear me. She's been having a hard time hearing me tonight.
Can you hear him? Oh
Um,
no.
So
Okay.
you'll have to ask her for me.
Okay.
Um,
I did check with Stan on the text, and he said that the audience can hear us all, so that's a good thing.
mhm.
So,
Destiny's on here. She remembered that show. Actually, I did get to meet. And I need to put the picture up. I've got a picture of me and Jonathan Frid when I was 12.
I saw
Uh,
that.
I was the only kid there. It was at a college function, and I wasn't supposed to be there. And after the show, I was standing at the back of the line, and he said, "Hey, you come here." And he spent 45 minutes with me talking and signed everything I asked him to sign, took pictures. He was very, very kind. Um,
Well, ask me a question to ask her, and then I'll ask her.
well, you're doing a wonderful job tonight. What kind of things, what kind of projects does she have going on currently?
Okay, what kind of projects do you have going on currently? See, I'm getting to be a voice translator.
Yes, you are.
um, I have a drama short film that is coming out, and a few horror projects that is coming. I have a horror. Yeah.
Well, tell her that one of my favorite actresses is Ingrid Nilsson, who played Pippi Longstocking, who was from Sweden.
Oh my god. Okay, I remember her. One of his
Yes,
favorite actresses is the girl that played Pippi Longstocking, and she
Ingrid
was
Nilsson.
from Sweden. What was her name? Ingrid?
Inger Nilsson.
Ingrid
Yeah,
Nielsen.
yeah.
I loved her.
Me too. I remember Pippi Longstocking.
Pippi was
That's
awesome.
hilarious. Oh, this is so funny. I wish she could hear you though, but that's okay. So I want to know a little bit more about when you are writing. Have you what is your what do you like to write about? What's your favorite topics or stories?
Sorry, can you please repeat it? My headphones just
When
died,
you're
so I had to.
when you're writing, are you do you like you write scripts, right? You write
Mm-hmm.
stories. Have you
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you've written have you written a book? Because I don't know if I've seen the book.
I haven't written a book.
Okay.
I'm hoping to write a book, but it's my brain is a little bit all over the place.
Mm.
So,
It's hard. I've written, like, so many now, and it's like, you really have to, like, keep everything categorized. It's, like,
yeah.
crazy. But when you write your stories, like, how do you
Mhm.
do that? What's your way of writing? Do you, like, write all night or just never stop writing, or you just, like, take times and breaks, or how do you do your writing?
Um, well, right now I write on a horror series called The Frenzied Quill with another writer. His name's Paul, and we both take breaks because it's like if I just I don't know how it is with Paul, but for me, if I just continue writing and writing, eventually, like I lose where I'm supposed to stop, and I need to take that break to sort of recharge and then come back and look over and see what I can change. And, it's like, or if I started with a new episode and I haven't even finished the other episode. So,
I did not is that okay, what's the name of that?
the friend said Quill.
Oh my okay, because I didn't see that. So, and you've been how long have you been doing that?
So we've been writing on the show for, I don't know, like 2 years maybe.
Oh my
And we
god.
are ready to start filming the first episode.
Oh
So
my gosh. That's great.
yeah.
And how so compared to here in America, compared to where
Mhm.
you're at, do you find that it's easier to do films or easier to do your craft there? Or is it, just to get in the business or to get with
Mm,
good quality people?
um, honest is more difficult here in Sweden than it is in the United States or in England because I used to live in England for many years. But here in Sweden, I mean, I love my country. I love my like films here, my fellow colleagues here. But we are a bit more stricter and maybe like not okay with certain projects being filmed, and it's quite, like it's more difficult of like like breaking it like here in this like here in Sweden. So it's more, sorry, I'm like super tired, like it's
I
like
know.
4 in the morning.
You look awake. I'm like, if I was me, I think I have a really hard. I'd be like, oh, well, what? But so, like, on that aspect, has the fact that we've gone into like this, like, we are globally able to talk to each other now.
Mhm.
We can't hear you, Mercedes.
Sorry, you
We
just
can't hear you.
disappeared.
I lost you too.
Ooh,
There we go. I can hear you now.
okay. I moved something. Okay, can
Oh,
y'all hear me?
yes.
Okay, good. Phew. So when the pandemic hit, I think
Mhm.
that even really opened up us being able to communicate more. So how has that helped with you being an actress and wanting to get out your work? Has it helped a lot in a way?
It has helped. It has also sort of like stopped a little bit, like because I really prefer being on stage
Yeah.
and or in front of the camera, like on set. Um, but it did help. In Sweden, we did have our rules during like the pandemic, but we weren't as strict. We didn't close down like in England or the United States, we did have like, follow this, if you're sick, don't show up. Like we could change it into filming like online, but there were still like rules that you had to follow and keep a distance, like don't go to, if you are like having a bad health, like don't show up like with like 50 people and like, or don't come like on set, just be careful, but um
Mm.
yeah, so many sets did close down, but many of them are up and running, and some of them said like, okay, you can't come in now, we have to wait and we film, like day another day, or you have to film online and send it in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm so glad that's over for a while. I hopefully never will come back again. And do you have children, right? Do you have a child?
I have two cats who are my children.
Oh, yes, they're very much children.
And
Mhm.
they're teenage girls, twins.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, I have two teenage boys cats that are twins, but one's really big and one's little. So I'm like, we're like, how did that happen? Like he's like three times bigger than his brother. He eats about 10 times more than his brother, though. It's pretty funny.
Well, that's why he's bigger because he eats
It
more.
is, he's just a big boy. And then the other one, he would always just be sick, but they're both healthy. But
Mm,
they're just I just love cats. I love all animals. Anyway,
mm.
oh my goodness. Well, tell us about what it's like to win all these awards. I mean, you are obviously good at what you do because you do win a lot of awards.
Thank you.
Does that feel
um
good? Does that make you happy? Say good thing.
yeah, it does. It makes me proud of every single project I've ever done. um So I'm very happy. When I started winning awards, it finally felt like I worked so many years to get here, and now I just
Yeah,
gonna keep on going. There is no end. Like it's just continue.
that's so good. I love that.
Hmm.
And how did you actually meet Mickey?
It
Did
was
have
actually
you ever met her in person?
I haven't actually met her in person. I have spoken with her like online, like you and I speak now,
Yeah.
like we do now. But I met her through my friend Mark, or my brother from another mother, Mark Denham. Um, and he was like, "Hey, so I want to introduce you to somebody," and he connected us two together, and ever since then, like she's like really like put me on different covers here and there and interviews, and reminded me about like, remember to like send in this interview, remember about those photos, can you do this, can you do that, So,
That's really nice. And from what I remember from when I did that before, people weren't that sweet. Like she's very sweet and very helpful, and
mhm,
it doesn't feel like there's strings attached. From a lot of people I
mhm,
used to work with, it was always I don't know, just it was this kind of like cut. It was like cutthroat. I don't
mm,
feel that with a lot of the people that I'm dealing with now. I don't feel that. Maybe it's just because I'm raised my vibration higher. Hey, that's a good question. How do you feel about like vibrational frequencies and how you connect with people as far as being an actress or just in your regular life? Regular dealing with like
mhm.
good frequencies, scary frequencies. What do you feel about that? We talk about frequency a lot on the channel.
Um, it can get, when I try to get to know somebody and immediately like those like big warning flags, warning signs shows up, and I have this very strange feeling. Um, that can be quite annoying because it has popped up so many times, and many times I've ignored it and come back and bite me in the ass. It's like, but it's
Yeah.
supposed. if those warning signs come, like I'm supposed to listen to them, and if I'm not, then it's only my own fault for it. But I I love I love it, but what sometimes scares me is when people sort of fake their good vibrations or their good ways, and they fool you, and then eventually you stand there and you look like an idiot and you feel like an idiot, and then you're just like, why did I trust you, and why didn't I get the signs? Because they were faking it. And so that is what I don't like. Oh my god, it's a fly. um Sorry. um but I do like good vibrations. I like good people. I like hanging out with any person. It's but yeah.
Yeah, and so it's almost like those type of people, they're the great ones for us to end up you writing about
Hmm.
in a script or, getting a
Yeah.
good character. I think it's
Hmm.
interesting. So, would you say that you play more characters that are like yourself, or do you play characters that are well, you can play a variety. You can
Hmm.
play a really bad person, but you could be a really sweet person. What is your kind of characters that you will gravitate to?
I often get cast as the crazy person, the psychopath. um and but I have gotten roles where I play, can you say, a good person or a normal person, not somebody who's murdered somebody. But since I look younger than my age, I often get to play the teenager or the early 20 girl in her early 20s. So that's my roles. So it's a lot of emotions here and there.
Yeah. Wow. That's like crazy. So what is I know you can't talk about the one thing that the some of the projects you're doing, but for
Hmm.
your future, what do you see that you would what do you foresee in your future? What would you like? What would you like to do in your future? Like 2 or 3 years from now, what do you want to be doing?
Oh, I want to continue act. That's what I want to do. It will be amazing to work with Scorsese or Tarantino or like any great person. I want to continue just film. I'm happy making only horror movies. If I only get horror movies, I'm the happiest girl in the world. It's a great community. They've always been very welcomed, loving, and so for me, just continue acting as much as possible. Continue creating films and projects as much uh, as as I can. So.
You know, I I remember so my former husband Mark, who is the father of my son Tristan, when I first met him, he told me, "Well, I work on horror films." And I'm like, "What?" And but he was the sweet, such a nice person. I mean, he's such, and I didn't know anything about it. But so then I got to meet a lot of people. I got to be on the sets where I got to help with. I mean, it wasn't anything like major horror movies. They was in Dallas, but I mean, there were shows and things that he was doing and working with different people. And I remember doing something. He went to SMU, and we had to do a film, and I was in acting school at that time, and we had to do a film where I was cutting. We have this too. He has it on he has it on Vimeo. So I play somebody who gets killed by somebody
Mhm.
horrible, and I was the worst person for getting killed ever. I just not that good. Then I played somebody where I had to slit my arm, and I
Mhm.
just but it was so crazy because it's fake blood. So when you're on the set, it's really not, it doesn't feel as horrible as it is because it's all,
Mhm.
being presented that way, but it's not. But I just thought that was so interesting because when I look at you, you're just such a sweet person. It's not you're not a psychopath with your for your roles and everything. So it's really funny that you're cast that way, but you could act a little crazy. I mean, we can
Well, I
act a little
can.
crazy, right? We all got a little
Yeah.
crazy in us. And Bishop Joshua, he works with a lot of people, not saying anything who you work with, but he works with mental illness. And
Mhm.
we talk about this a lot on our shows, like
Yeah, we
how
do.
are people affected by the supernatural in many ways with the unwanted energies and different things, and that a lot of it is through the supernatural that they really create more of these scary people. you know I don't know if I left a question in there or not. I'm so sorry that you can't hear him.
A
Bishop
lot of
Joshua, do
it's
you
an
have another
addiction too,
question?
I mean, different things affect our mental health, and it's funny how a lot of it's presented in movies because it's it's made to mimic real life. I've met people that have multiple personalities, people that and not just in my career, but in my ministry, I've met people that are criminally insane. I've met people that have murdered people. Um, so a whole vast variety of different people, and I think movies gives creators the opportunity to explore that and to talk about it. Um, and that's why documentaries are done. And I think it's some of the most scary movies I've ever seen are documentaries where they talk to serial killers like Ed Gein and Ted
Yeah,
Bundy and people like that. So I think the
yeah,
movies gives creators a way of exploring the darker side of humanity, um, and I think we all have been um, susceptible to that, or we all have had access to that through the different movies we watch. And not all movies always end happy, and not all stories end happy. Like Night of the Living Dead, for instance. Um, Ben survives. And I think it was pretty interesting because in the 1960s, he was an African American male who was cast as the hero of the show. And, during that time in our country, there was tensions and things going around with civil rights, and Dwayne Jones was cast as the hero. And in the end, they killed him. In the end, they thought he was a zombie, so it ended horribly. Um, so I think that it kind of explores the part of humanity that because we always want to win, but we don't always win.
yeah. So, Ellen, he just went over a lot of things. So when you get a chance, listen back at that. But one of the things he was talking about was the Night of the Living Dead,
Hmm.
and just how that film was made, and the historical aspects of that film. And then it's just kind of interesting. He was talking about documentaries. So
Hmm.
how documentaries can be scarier than the film because they're
Hmm.
real. Now, I just have a documentary coming out, and when I look back at it, I think it's scary. I
Yeah.
do because I lived through it. But have you created a documentary too on some of the things that maybe that's something you could do? Your life in a haunted location would be a good documentary.
It would.
I filmed a lot of behind the scenes on set and released them. Some of the cast and crew might hate me because I'm always having a camera, so they're like, no. And I get my hands on like everything from behind the scenes. But yeah, documentaries are scarier than like a horror movie because it's real life. I just recently looked at the first episode of The Worst Ex Ever on Netflix, and it was like the first guy that they had was that the Deadpool killer, Wade Wilson, and I'm like, oh god. And I was thinking like, um, so sad, like because it's like that happens all the time, both to men and women. Like they get fooled by somebody and they meet somebody and suddenly like they're sitting and talking and they're like, how did this happen, like why did I, like they're blaming themselves, and I myself can be like, I blame myself also, like when it comes to like certain things, and I'll be like, it's so like that's in our nature, we believe that we did wrong because like why didn't we do this, you know? And
Right.
yeah, and when like stuff happens and you get to see like, you know, this is our society, you know, it's like, and yeah, I want to do a documentary, but I need to know what exactly I want to do about, because it's like I already do a podcast about hauntings and stuff, so it's
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
Yes, talk about that. You do a podcast on hauntings.
Yeah,
So
the
many.
untitled.
You have a long list of things.
Yeah, it's called The Untitled Show by EMN. It's on Spotify. And it's hauntings, the unknowns, missing people. And also occasionally I talk about scandals like on reality shows, or I do interviews. I had Mark on where he talked about himself, like as an interview. I asked him to like asked him a few questions and he responded with them. And I've also had Paul Bagnall, the guy that I write The Frenzied Quill on. I have a few other people that I want to have on. I'm still working to make sure that I can get them, you know, on the show. Um, but otherwise, it's like hauntings, the unknowns, you know, the supernatural, you know, it's stuff that interests me, you know. So,
Yeah, that sounds like this show in many ways, you know, because
Yeah.
and we're lucky we had we have a variety of amazing people that just we get to interview and you're one of them. So
Mhm.
that's really neat that you have. I'm so sorry I missed that one that you
no,
did.
it's okay.
You know what's interesting? I watch Missing 411 every day now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
hooked on Missing 411 and just listening to how did these people go missing? And a lot of them it's
Mm-hmm.
supernatural things that are happening
Mm-hmm.
is from what it looks like. And it's a cover up. So it's very interesting about these missing people. So that's neat that you're interested in that too. I think it's part of being that detective.
Yeah.
I I think I'm like a detective in many ways. Are you like a detective too, Ellen, in a way?
Yeah, I
Kind of.
realize that when I go through, you know, like an episode or a case or anything, I sort of try to find like the right resources and like who said that and who did this and where did that come from? Was it really, you know, the truth? And when it comes to the missing people, I try to take, was it this person who did this, or there was one case. Um, I'm gonna actually do a follow up soon on several cases, but there was one case where this girl, she's she went missing after getting out of the car of her ex boyfriend, and her current boyfriend was playing like a computer game or a TV game, something with her brother in another apartment, and then she disappeared between her ex boyfriend's car and her grandma's apartment. And there was just like maybe a 10-minute walk, 5-minute walk, and he could like see her when she left. And people were like, "Oh, it's the ex boyfriend. Of course, it's the ex boyfriend." Well, no, it can also be somebody else, but it's like, and you try to like find like, was it really the ex-boyfriend, was it the current boyfriend, or did she run away, did she fool everybody? And it's, you know, like it, there is always things that like I find that doesn't make sense, and then suddenly you get like like you get where they say like, oh yeah, that is true, like that doesn't make any sense, then you're like, ah, I knew it. So yeah, I'm sort of like a detective. Also, when I get like that confirmation that it's like it was correct what I believed it.
Exactly, and I think that's I think it's just a mystery, and it looks like
Mhm,
we are almost out of time. So
mhm.
I just wanna thank you for being here, but also, is there anything you wanna share with us um, that we didn't go over, or that you might wanna actually share with us before we go?
Yeah, well, it's for everybody who experience any paranormal, supernatural, or anything, just like um please respect it. And if you're gonna make a movie about demons, please remember to do research, like or like find out who they are and always respect them, because um because I was on set once and we were making a movie about demons and we had an actress who were very disrespectful and we're like, are you kidding me? Like, stuff happened and it's like it came back and bit the entire cast and crew's ass afterwards. And if you're filming on a cemetery, please pay respect to those people who are buried there. And anybody, when it comes to the paranormal, it's not in the end, it's not a joke. Like, you're sort of like walking a fine line between our world and their world. So please be respectful to that.
You're
I love
muted.
that.
Oh,
I
there we
love
go.
that what you just said. I
Yeah.
appreciate you saying that. Thank you, and
Yes.
that
Thank
was
you.
good advice, don't you think, Joshua?
I do. Yeah, I really do. And I'm glad that she has been on here with us tonight. I mean, it's 4 o'clock in the morning there. And, I know Sweden's a wonderful place. I'd love to go there and visit one day. I'm going to, just like I'm going to go to my home, my native home in Scotland. Um, and I'm going to, when I retire, I'd love to go retire to Scotland and die in Scotland and be buried there. So that's one of my goals. I don't know if that'll ever happen. If I'm cremated, I may have some of my ashes taken to Scotland. Um, but I don't plan on dying anytime soon. I plan on living to be about 150 years old. So,
Okay, good. Well, Ellen, you're going to crack up when you hear what he just said. It was pretty funny. But I hope you do get to go to have your ashes buried in Scotland.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying. So
yeah, I'm
funny.
going to come visit. I want to look up Pippi Longstocking when I come to Sweden because I absolutely, and Tommy and Annika, I absolutely love them. You know,
I'm going to have to look them up too, just to see if they're still alive.
they are. They're in their late 50s, is all. Late
Oh,
50s, early 60s, yeah. So,
oh, okay.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
still alive. Yeah.
Oh, nice. He's talking about long stocking. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah,
Well, thank
people
you
don't die
so much.
anymore. We just, people live forever now. I mean, look at Mick Jagger. He's like 1,000 years old and he's still traveling, touring. You know,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's 1,000 years old.
I think
Well,
he's a
thank you,
vampire, but that's
Ellen. Thank you so much for
yes. Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you.
And
Thank
when you come back again, we'll make sure that sound was better. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear
Yeah.
Joshua.
Yeah,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much, and congratulations on everything. And I'll be sharing all your stuff that I see, and I'm gonna go listen to some of your podcasts too.
All right, cool.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good night, everybody. Good
Bye.
night, and God bless everybody. And we look forward to our next show. Be sure to check all of her work out. Go to Facebook, look at her online. It's all there. Thank you so
Yep.
very much. Joshua, do you want to say anything?
Good night, everybody. We love you. Ciao.
Ciao. I'll leave it there.
Bye.